Well guys, it's time to address the ugly front end on this car. So our first step of doing that is I want to French the headlights all in. So these rings don't actually fit the car. They're for a 54, this is a 53. So they're close, but they're kind of off, and I don't really like the way they look either. So I think we're gonna go ahead and French them. I've never Frenched headlights before. I've done tons of other stuff, obviously, you guys have seen here on the channel, but Frenching headlights is new to me, so we're gonna see how this goes. So to make it a little bit easier, I bought a kit to be able to do it. So I'm gonna check out what all's in this kit. I haven't really looked at it too much yet, so we'll open her up and see what all we got. Catalog with some cool stuff in it. What all we got in here? Yogis, I've never even heard of them, but apparently they got a bunch of cool stuff. I'll check that out. So I did buy this kit. This wasn't a freebie or anything like that, so I have no obligations to anybody for anything on this, other than myself to be able to figure it out. If you guys are interested, I will give you guys a link to this below on where I bought it. I think we bought it on Amazon, so I'll give you guys a link to it in case you guys are looking for one yourself. So it just comes basically, it looks like, with a bucket, and the bucket has a rolled edge on it right here where we'll make it way easier to be able to go ahead and try to get that fitted in there. So we got, we did splurge and get the stainless rings in there. Probably still gonna have chrome on the front of the car, so we wanna be able to make everything all match for that. And this one is the same as the other one, except for I see that it's got some hardware in here for us, and also a ring that we can bolt into this other one and be able to set our headlight in there. Well, I'm gonna look at this stuff a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this headlight and all this stuff out of the fender here, and we're gonna see what we got to be able to make this work. Got trained now, and Connor's getting ready to grind some stuff over there. We'll go check out what he's doing here in a minute, but yeah, we'll come back and see what we got here to be able to get this to go into the fender. Well, we got the old headlight bucket out of there, and that was just some screws and stuff, no big deal there. Anybody can figure that out. Now we got to figure out a way to get this bucket to go in here into the fender, and it doesn't fit. So we're gonna have to open this hole up a little bit. You can pretty well see where this old bucket was at, and there's kind of a paint line right there from where it's been painted before. I think we might just go ahead and just try to cut right to that, and I think if we do that, it looks like this bucket will fit in there pretty good at that point. So that's our next step. Well, it definitely fits in there now, but it doesn't fit real well. This car has this goofy body line on the fender here, which I've already been going back and forth on. I don't really like it because it's only on the fender. It's not on the door, it's not on any rest of the car, it's only the fender. So I've been kind of thinking about taking it off. It's either that or I need to extend the line down the door so it makes sense. But to me, it was just a total afterthought that they put it on there, and now we're dealing with it. So anyways, long story short on that, we would probably be not too awful bad other than the fact that it has a spot here on each side where it has that line, and the body line went through the headlight and out the other side over here. So I don't know. Look at it for a second here and try to decide. Maybe I can bring this out just a little bit and extend this to here, something like that, and maybe that would look pretty good. I'm still gonna have to do something about this body line though, so I don't know. While I'm thinking about that though, we gotta go over and check out and see what Connor's doing. So yeah, while I've been working on the 53, Connor is over here working on the C50, and he is working on patching in, can't really see it, he's working on patching in the little hole there that we had to cut in there for the head to fit. So we got something started there, it's getting close.
Yep, I'm just about to make this break point just a little straighter up and down and tack it in, make a little hat, tack that in.
And be good to go.
Yep.
Sweet. This, by the way, is Connor's first day in the real world. He graduated on Saturday, and today, Monday, is his first day of coming to work all day for the rest of his life.
Yep.
So we're happy to have him here. He's hired on full time now, so it's pretty awesome, and you guys are going to see more of him in the videos, I'm sure, because he's going to be here 8 hours a day now instead of just part of the day.
Yep.
So pretty awesome.
So speaking of Connor graduating, kind of snuck in here in the office while he's back there. We don't want him to know. But if you guys want to help him celebrate and plan for his future, that thanks button down below, you can click that. You can give any denomination that you want to. Not any denomination, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. We will pass on this video anything that you guys want to donate towards Connor's future. We will pass directly on to him because we adore him. A lot of you guys think that he's our kid. He's not, but we do love him, and he's extremely talented, and we feel very fortunate to have him. We're excited that he's agreed to come full-time here. We didn't know when he graduated really what he was going to want to do, so we were thrilled to find out that he's agreed to stay here. So
he's a huge help in the shop.
He really
you guys wouldn't even see half the videos you see now if it wasn't for Connor, because Connor's doing a lot of the stuff in the background, the little BS stuff or whatever, if you will, that just needs
That's
to be done.
what he writes on the time card. BS. Anyway.
The stuff that needs to be done to have things happen, and he is very helpful with all of that. So
yeah, and he's got some fun projects of his own that he's working on, and so anything that you guys gave, I'm sure he would really appreciate having some extra help towards like his.
He's got a S10 that he's doing an LS swap on all himself. 18-year-old kid doing it all himself, so that's awesome just in itself. And then when he gets it done, I think he's planning on trying to do like Rocky Mountain Race Week or something like that with it, in which case
it's gonna scare his mom to death is what he's gonna do, but that's fine.
But we'll probably follow along if he does that, and you guys will get to see that as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be pretty awesome.
That would be fun.
Yep.
Anyway, get back to work.
All right. But yeah, if anybody wants to help out with Connor, we'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we're passing everything 100% right off onto him.
On
his
this video.
graduation present, I guess, if you will. So
yeah.
Yep.
So, thanks.
All right, back to the 53 here. So, let me show you guys that body line I was talking about a little bit more. It's just right there on the fender. It doesn't go down the door at all. I really don't understand why they did that. I think it's gonna have to go. That's just the only way that makes sense. Like I said, I could extend it down the door, but it really doesn't go with the rest of the car. The rest of the car is all rounded. So to have that crisp, clean line on there and everything else is all smooth and rolled around, I don't like it. So I think what I'm gonna do here to get started making this fit to begin with is go ahead and just make the decision to get rid of this line for sure 100%. So I'm gonna probably do a little slicing and dicing there, see if I can't hammer this back out. I'll probably have to cut it along the seam right there or along the line, and then hammer everything back around and flatten it all out and have to weld that all back up. End up having to do that down the whole fender, I think, to be able to make the whole line go away. But definitely need to do some of it right now while we're working on this area with the bucket, so that I can have a nice, clean, smooth line around here to get working on. And I think I am going to have to build it out just a little bit here to be able to make everything work. So we'll probably end up having it out about an inch or so, and we'll get rid of that line all at the same time and make this work. So. Well, that's way better. We don't have that goofy body line out here now anymore, but we do have a step all the way around here that we need to deal with. So, like I said, I think I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit. I think that'll look better from the side profile anyways, bringing it out. And then I'm also, when I bring it out, I'm gonna build a piece of sheet metal here that's gonna have a little bit of a taper to it. And the way we're gonna be able to do that is we're gonna start off with just a strip of metal that we're gonna cut over here, and we'll put it in the shrinker stretcher. We'll shrink one side of it a little bit, pull it down a little, and then I've got a little roller over here that will roll it through, and that should give us kind of a cone shape around there that we can now weld onto the fender and weld onto that and fill in the void and make everything all smooth. So let's see if it happens as easy as I make it sound. So that took a little bit of work to get the transition from this bigger circle out here on the end of the fender to the smaller circle in our bucket, but I think it turned out pretty good. We've got a pretty nice flow to it. It's gonna weld up and grind out pretty good. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get that done. I think the only other option that we could have done to be able to try to make this work would have been to go ahead and bring this in, the bucket side of it, the smaller ring, bring it and put it up there and probably center it over here on this side, and then start doing a bunch of pie cuts on our fender to where we could bring it together and narrow it up and make it hit the bucket. But I think this is a cleaner way to do it, a lot less welding, a lot less pie cutting and all that kind of garbage. And then also too, it kind of still has that same flow and look as the other side. It kind of doesn't look like much has changed. And when you can do something to make it look like it hasn't changed much, but it looks better and you don't know the reason why, that's the ultimate goal with stuff like this. You know, when you're having the person that's looking at it that's just not familiar with the vehicle, know that it looks good, but don't know why it looks better than another car that looks just like it. So I think we're achieving that with this, and I think we're ready to move forward and go ahead and, like I said, it's been another hour welding and grinding, and we'll get this thing knocked out here on this side. Okay, so we got this all nice and clean and pretty looking, and all the metal work pretty well there done. So it's time to go ahead and get everything situated in here to mount the headlight in. So there's the 3 tabs in there. When you put this bucket in, you want to make sure that the 3 tabs are clocked at 3, 9, and 12, so that you can make the plates that go in there, or these retaining rings go in there in the right spot. So there's 2 different rings from what I've seen here. There's a base ring and then there's a retaining ring. So the base ring obviously goes first because that's for the base of the headlight. All your headlights have those little tabs that stick out on the back, so the retaining one will line up with the little tabs so that your headlight's pointing in there in the right, you know, position and not sitting in there all crooked. So now that I've got that all figured out, the tabs in here need holes drilled in them. So you need an 1/8 inch hole in there. So kind of held this up there, stuck a awl in there and marked the hole and drilled out the first hole. I'm going to go ahead and then screw this one in so that it doesn't move around. There's no chance of the holes being in different spots. So all it is just a sheet metal screw, I guess, from what it looks like. There's supposed to be a spring behind there, but I'm not going to put the spring on just yet until I get the other 3 holes drilled. Just wanted to walk around, so go ahead and mark it. Okay, so we know we got all 3 of our holes now where they'll bolt in. I'm going to back the screws out. So it comes with these little springs, and I guess they're supposed to be behind these retaining plate things, so we're going to put those in there. Okay, so we got the little back ring in there. Now we can set the headlight in there. Again, it just has the 3 little spots there where it only goes into those little tabs. Then it just kind of sits there. Then we have one more ring, this outer retaining ring thing that is going to hold it in place. Probably should have ran those in through that ring to begin with before it was on the spring. But for now, we can just go like that. I think it'll be fine. Now we can take our little ring here and kind of get an idea of what the final look's going to look like. And there we go. One finished headlight. Of course, we got to do body work and paint yet, but looks way better than the other side. So here's our before with the stock beauty ring from a 54 instead of 53. And we got our body line right here that we removed. And then we go over here to the other side. Now we're all clean, smoothed up, and no more beauty ring around there. All we have everything Frenched in, or now we have everything all Frenched in and looking pretty. Well, everyone, I think this is a wrap. So I appreciate you guys watching and following along with the build. And I'll see you guys again next Wednesday at 7. I think we're going to be back to work on the C50 next week.